My name's Andrea Capere, and you're watching Mission Nonprofit. Each month, we connect with local organizations and agencies that are making a positive impact in our communities. We've invited Aaron Lamb from Harlequin Productions to talk to us about their important work. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about Harlequin. What's the mission? What do you do?
Sure. We're a nonprofit professional regional theater here in Olympia. We're the only professional theater between Seattle and Portland. We've been in operation since 1991, I think. Our mission is to invigorate, educate, and empower our community to think more, to feel more, to play more, and to judge less. And we do that through the mirror, what we call the mirror of real-life theater. So we were started back in 1991. Scott and Linda Whitney founded the company. They started sort of a scrappy young theater company out of the Washington Center Black Box. They did 3 offerings that first year, 91 to 92, that were each of the offerings they did that year were 2 one-act plays, so an evening of 2 one-act plays. And it was very super successful. They went back a second year. They did 4 plays that year, 4 full-length plays that year. And they went back a third year, and they went back a fourth year. And as they grew bigger and bigger, it became obvious that they were outgrowing their space there at the Washington Center. And so they raised, I believe, $1.3 million in about 17 months to purchase the State Theater downtown and renovate it, poured all the concrete in there, and bootstrapped that thing into a theater space. Mm-hmm. And so we've been in there since 1998, 99 season, I believe. I wasn't around then, so if I'm wrong, I apologize. But we've been there for many years doing a season of 7 plays now. So they started, I think, with 6 first, and now we're up to 7 plays a season in the State Theater. Mm-hmm. So with my first full season, 2020, we're actually going to be expanding that to 9 plays. We'll do 7 plays in the State Theater, and then we're going to do 2 plays back at our original home at the Washington Center Black Box. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that mission. What was that again?
So we seek, I'm going to quote this thing, I think. We seek to invigorate, to educate, and to empower our community to think more, feel more, play more, and judge less through the mirror of real-life theater.
And so how do you live that mission?
Yeah. So I think we believe, and I believe, that that theater really is a mirror. It's an interesting art form in that it's language-based, and it's real-life based more than others. So it's more tangible oftentimes to people, and it can be more active in that way. So we say that theater holds the mirror up to society, and basically what that means, I think, is that theater as an art form can show society what it is and show society what it ought to be. And I think that's the real thing that we're trying to do, to show people what maybe the world ought to be from our idealistic standpoint, maybe, and empower them through just an increased level of empathy with human experience. I think that's really at the core of theater. You know, what is the human experience, and how do we make our lives better? So that's that: invigorate, get them excited, empower, make people hopefully walk away from what we do wanting to make something better in their life, and educate, maybe open their eyes to something that was not something they would have seen before, a point of view that's different, with empathy, not with a didactic way of saying this is how the world should be. We don't tell those kind of stories. That kind of theater is propaganda. We tell stories about people. You know, theater is never about things. Theater is about people.
So that clearly informs the types of plays that you choose to share with our community.
For sure, yeah.
And so how do you engage the community?
Well, first we produce theater. And we engage the community on both sides of that. The play we have running right now, we have 12 actors in the ensemble, which is sort of big in some ways, sort of small in other ways. But that's the acting ensemble with the directing team, the design team, the running crew, the stage management team, the electricians, the carpenters, the painters, everybody involved on the production side. That's about 40 to 45 people for this production. And then, of course, we have all of our front of house that sell the tickets, that market the show, promote the show, make sure that people know about it so they can come see it. I mean, that's a whole cadre of people as well. And then we have a volunteer base. And for this particular show, we have about 220 volunteers, volunteer spaces for that show. So it takes a village, for sure. And that is, at the heart of what we do. Theater in itself it's a community engagement exercise. It's about people coming together to create work. In addition to that, I mean, we have performances that engage the community. We have a Pay What You Can night for every production, which is ticket prices. For us, they cover a little over half. For most theaters, they only cover half of the cost of operation, and they're already so high. So not everyone can afford them. We want to make sure that we have an opportunity for people who can't afford to come see the show. Pay What You Can is a night to just walk in, and if you want to give $50 to see a show, you can. If you found a dime on the street and you want to see the show, you can see it that way as well. We have a community engagement night, which is the first preview night of the run of every show. And that is a night that we give to a nonprofit, the whole house, and they can do with that whatever they want. They can have a volunteer party or a work party, or they can bring their organization in. They can auction the tickets off and make it a fundraiser, whatever they want to do or whatever they need to do to make their organization better. They have that opportunity, and we want to provide that. So we provide that for each production as well. We have student matinees for every show except the summer show, for obvious reasons. So we have an opportunity to bring school kids in and hopefully educate, invigorate, empower those kids.
It's a huge amount of value that you're giving back to our community.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, if we've been here 28 years, we have that responsibility. I think that's from my point of view. That's the way I look at it.
And you talked about educating. So tell us a little bit about your education program.
Yeah, educate in our mission, I think, is a little bit different than our education program. I think that I believe that the work that we do on stage can have an element of education only in that it can present different points of view that people wouldn't normally see. That said, we also believe that there's no future in the theater if we don't teach our young people the value. So we do have education programs. We're just starting them back up right now. We have 2 programs, one in the spring and one in the fall, for after-school programs. We focus on scene study and monologues and stage combat, movement, all that sort of stuff. And then in the summer we have a Shakespeare intensive conservatory, and that's like a full day, 5 days a week immersive program for teens, more high school age kids and kids with a little bit of experience there. So that's what we're offering the education program right now. We also have hopes to expand that to some adult education as well. Acting classes or public speaking classes for adults without experience, but then also professional classes. As the professional theater in the area, we have a unique opportunity to provide training for people who already are professionals. And I think with who we are and who we know, we're able to bring some people in to do that. So that's a way we're looking, I think, to expand in the future.
It sounds like a very exciting time.
I think it is, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a time of renewal for us. It's a time of discovery of what we really want to be in the community and what we really want to do, and then going and doing it.
And it sounds like there's some changes too to the structure of the season and the number of shows you're offering. That's
true, yeah. So actually, we're making a lot of changes. Our 2020 season we're titling Transformation. because it's a lot of change all at once, and that can be jarring for a lot of people. So we're trying to celebrate it at this point. We're moving our season from, we were on a season that not the calendar year and not the school year, it's somewhere in between. So we're trying to normalize that to just the calendar year, so we run January through December. We have a hanging chad of a show this year because of that, but we'll work it out. So we're doing that. We're adding to the 2 shows at the Washington Center, so we're upping what we offer, which I think is important. I get questions like about why do you, as a theater company, why do you want to expand, or why do you want to grow, or why do you want to get bigger? And it's a hard question to answer because it's a question I don't expect. But we want to do the most work for the most people that we possibly can do. And I think that goes without saying.
So maybe you can speak to the maybe the perception that theater is less relevant in our age.
Yeah. I think it's much more relevant and necessary. It's just not as noticeable. We live in this social media era where we're becoming less empathetic. We're becoming less. We don't look at both sides of an equation. We're becoming more tribal in our thoughts, and that all stems from just being able to type something and go with it and have an opinion, and that opinion is right or an opinion is wrong, and it's either black or white. And we're moving into that black and white world. Our mission, and theater in and of itself, is the opposite of that, is to look at the reality of the situation and look at the real experiences between people in this story. We tell that theater's about people, and it's about those interactions. And if there are issues that inform that, maybe that's a way to see a different side of something that you may have on Facebook or on Twitter already chosen and already decided. We walk out of the house in the morning with our minds made up about everything now, if we walk out of the house. So I think it's less visible theater, and I think that's because a lot of theater companies haven't learned how to market very well on social media. So that's a very big venture that we're undertaking. That's something that I feel strongly that we need to be doing. So I think we're getting presence out there. Hopefully, it's an uphill battle. It's a hard culture to change, but hopefully to get people out of their house, to come downtown, to walk into a theater, and to experience something new.
And turn your phones off.
Well,
and your ringers off. No pictures, please.
We tell them there. It's fine.
And so you're an actor yourself, but also the artistic director. So what does that role mean for you?
Artistic director? I love that question.
Also, unintentional pun. What does that role mean?
Yeah, it is. It's more a. It's more. Oh, I don't know what to say. It's more. It's less a role, I think, than more of a responsibility. So as artistic director, I think my primary goal is to steward the resources that we have that have been built for us by the people who came before us, and to make sure that everything we do builds on that and makes it better. In addition to that, I bring a desire to really connect with the community and make the community a better place through the work we do. So as an artistic director, my job is to kind of change the culture and make that the culture of the organization, and hopefully spill that out into the community.
And it sounds like you've got your work cut out for you with 9 shows per year. So that's like that's less than 1 per month, but like probably 1 1/3.
Yeah, it's going to be an exercise in project management for sure. There will be a lot of Google spreadsheets about the season, for sure. There are already.
So you mentioned volunteers and any other support that you could see our community rallying for you.
Any other support I could see the community rallying for?
So any fundraising opportunities or other ways that the community can come out and support Harlequin?
Well, I would roll that back, and I would say the first step, the best way to support is just come downtown. Olympia's downtown is neglected by a large portion of the community. Just come see it. Walk the streets, see the shops, see what downtown has to offer. And after you've done that for a little bit, walk into our home and buy a ticket and see some of our work and see what you think. I think the best way the community can support us is to come see our work. That's the reason we're here. That's what we do. That said, you can become a member, you can donate. We have all sorts of programs there. So all of that support is necessary. But I think at this point in our development and our evolution as an organization, the one thing I'm hoping to really impact in the near term is get people come downtown. Just come downtown and come into the theater. And if you can do that, hopefully we will exceed your expectations.
So with just a few minutes left, is there anything else you want to share about the organization?
I think we're just excited about the future. We have made a commitment to living wage for all of our employees. This is a process, so I think we've been able to accomplish that for all of our administrative employees and all the people who work full-time and part-time in that way. We are starting to normalize that for all of our production crew as well. So soon we will be a professional theater that pays a living wage to everybody who works there. And that's not common in the theater world. We just joined the acting union, so we are an Actors Equity House now. Doesn't mean everybody we hire is an equity actor, but it does mean that we have a quota of a certain amount of actors to hire per show. There's still plenty of roles available for community members, and there are many community members who are union members as well. So
tell us about auditions then. How do people come and get on stage?
The best way to get on stage is to watch our website, which I will update. Watch our website.
And what's that website again?
It's harlequinproductions.org.
Okay.
We have back down in the footer, there's a For Artists link. You can go there and get any information depending on what your specialty is. And if you want to audition as an actor, we will list our general auditions there. That's the best way to get involved if you want to act, is to come to those generals. Make sure you send an email to the casting @ and that instruction is on the webpage. Send an email there and let them know what you're interested in. It helps us to know that you're interested in something, and come to those generals, and then watch the webpage, watch the Facebook groups, Olympia Theater Artists, Seattle Theater Artists, Olympia Actors League, I think it is. And watch TPS, the Theater Puget Sound website. We post everything on there, so we do show-by-show auditions as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on today.
My pleasure, thank you.
Thank you. That's all we have for you. You can see Mission Nonprofit on Channel 77 on Sundays at 4:30 p.m., Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Thursdays at 7:30 p.m., and Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. You can also catch us online at tcmedia.org. See you next time.